to the Plan Commission meeting here for June 3rd, 2014. We missed a week there. For those that have not been to a meeting before, the way this process works is once we're done reviewing the minutes from last week's meeting, calling the roll, city staff will present on an item. We'll open it up to the commission for technical questions. Once we're done with technical questions, we'll close it and then open up to the public. If you have something to say about an item, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address so we have it for the minutes. We also may ask you some questions. We ask that you keep your comments as much as possible germane to the topic at hand. Once public commentary is closed, we then come back to the commission and have a discussion and usually take a vote and move on to the next item. I also ask that you silence your cell phones so that it doesn't disturb the meeting. With that, let's call the roll.
David Borsak. Ed Bowen.
Here.
Here.
Jeffrey Tomes. Thomas Poitek.
Here.
John Hens. Steve Cummings. Kathleen Pop.
Here.
Donna Laurie.
Here.
Robert Weigert.
Here.
Carl Hollenberger.
All right, on to the approval of minutes from May 6th. Do we have any additions, comments, deletions?
Motion approved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Let's move on to item number 1, Pakur annexation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
Ronald and Jane Johnson are requesting approval of the Packer annexation of approximately 15.877 acres of land located at the southwest corner of East Snell Road and Moser Street. Up on the screen, I have an aerial showing the subject site. The 15-acre property is completely surrounded by city properties to the north, west, east, and south. It's just connected by what they call a balloon string piece of land, which is city right-of-way along East Snell Road towards the top of the subject site. The subject site is currently zoned M2 in the town of Oshkosh, which is their version of the heavy industrial district, and is currently being used for agricultural purposes. The request is being made to allow for a future expansion of the Packer property, which is located to the south of the property, divided by a railroad spur line, which, as you recall, at the last meeting we had, the city had the request to dispose of this rail spur property to Packer, which would make the subject site and their existing facility contiguous. The Department of Public Works has reviewed the request, and city sewer and water are available along Moser Street, so serving the site is not a problem, as well as city and police and fire department won't have an issue serving the site since the entire site is already surrounded by the city limits. With that, the city is recommending approval of the Packer annexation with a permanent zoning of M3 heavy industrial as requested.
All right, thank you. Any technical questions from the commission? Okay, seeing none, anybody here from the public to speak to this item today? Going once, twice. All right, back to the commission.
Move to accept.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Pop.
Aye.
Laurie.
Aye.
Weigert.
Aye.
Hollenberger.
Aye.
Bowen.
Aye.
Poitek.
Aye.
Motion carried 6-0.
All right, moving on to item number 2, vacation of Dakota Street right-of-way north of West 3rd Avenue.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With the continuing construction of the new City of Oshkosh Field Operations Facility, the City of Oshkosh is requesting a vacation of Dakota Street from the north right-of-way line of West 3rd Avenue and continuing north for approximately 182 square feet. The existing right-of-way is actually 40 feet, and this is an adjustment to what the staff report says. Unfortunately, we had some different error or some different data on the GIS, so I'm making these adjustments, and they'll be noted on the staff reports for the next coming council meeting. The existing right-of-way is actually only 40 feet wide, and it totals approximately 0.17 acres in area, and it has an existing 24-foot roadway, which is asphalt. The adjacent parcels, both on the west side and on the east side, are owned by the City of Oshkosh. And as you can see, it's part of the overall operations facility site. And the existing storm sewer that is located on the roadway itself has been abandoned in accordance with the overall design, and the existing WPS electrical line will be abandoned when it comes to the central garage when it does become raised. So we don't have any issues with it, and staff is recommending approval of the vacation of the Dakota Street, starting from the north right-of-way of West 3rd and terminating at the existing field operations facility building.
Great. Technical questions? Seeing none, anybody here from the public to speak to this item today? Come on up, sir.
Bernard Pitts. The land to the west of that, I was the owner. August Pitts and Sons owned it. That land was taken on eminent domain with the intent of enriching themselves by closing the street. They did not compensate either side of the street with the intent in closing it. The city of Oshkosh changed the zoning on ours from heavy industrial to M2 prior to buying it also. So they offered us less money than what it was worth. We are not settled with the city totally on it, and this will possibly go to a lawsuit. So before you discontinue it, I think you better hold off discontinuing it until the matters are resolved between us and the city. Also, the property across the street, which was owned by Salt Cedars, none of us got paid a fair amount. They brought in some low baller for an appraisal, and we were allowed to get an appraisal. We got an appraisal from Oshkosh, from an appraiser that I never met before in my life, and his appraisal came in at 2.5 times what the city offered us. I think the city is just trying to steal this property, and I think it's rather rotten.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anybody else here to speak to this item today?
Pardon?
No, I'm asking if anybody else is. All right, seeing none, back to the commission.
Move approval. Second.
Discussion on the motion. Seeing none, call the roll.
Crop,
Aye.
Lori,
Aye.
Weigert,
Aye.
Wallenberger, Bowen,
Aye.
Wojtek.
Aye.
Motion carried 6-0.
Moving on to item number 3, conditional use permit and plan development to allow for the placement of a community garden located on the northeast corner of Central Street and West Parkway Avenue.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
More than welcome.
The Middle Village Neighborhood Association is requesting 2 actions within this petition. The first is a conditional use permit for a community garden use, and the second is a plan development approval for the development of the community garden. The subject site is located on the northeast corner of Central Street and West Parkway Avenue within the Middle Village neighborhood, and is vacant and is a vacant parcel owned by the City of Oshkosh Redevelopment Authority. The RDA acquired the parcel and demolished the vacant home formerly 118 West Parkway Avenue in 2011 using grant funding awarded through the State of Wisconsin Blight Elimination Program. The neighborhood consists of residential, commercial, and institutional uses. More specifically, the properties immediately surrounding the vacant parcel are single, 2, and multifamily residential homes, and are zoned R2PD. The applicant is proposing to establish a community garden on the subject parcel, which, as you can see from the air photo here. And then here are some additional pictures of the existing conditions on the site. The garden would consist of raised garden beds, a paved brick pathway, and would be used for providing additional teaching opportunities for children in the area and for residents to produce fresh produce. And additionally, the use of the vacant lot as a community garden was identified as a goal within the Middle Village Neighborhood Plan, which was approved by the Common Council on March 25, 2014. The proposed improvements meet all bulk and dimensional requirements with the exception of the location of the greenhouse structure and neighborhood identification signage. The proposed signage location is approximately 10 feet from the sidewalk and would encroach 15 feet into the setback. And the proposed greenhouse structure will be 3 feet from the side and rear property line and would encroach 25 feet and 4.5 feet into the rear and side yard setbacks respectively. Based on the small lot size and the existing 8-foot setback of the surrounding residential properties, staff believes the proposed greenhouse and shed and signage locations are appropriate. They are outside of the vision triangle and will not cause any vision obstructions. The community garden will be maintained by the neighborhood association, which would include weeding, mowing, trimming, snow removal, and keeping the site orderly. The neighborhood association anticipates requesting funding through the city's Great Neighborhood Program to complete site improvements. The use of the vacant parcel will be assessed and approved on a yearly basis by the city's redevelopment authority. If the RDA, as the owner, feels the applicant is not maintaining the site in a fashion that is compatible with the neighborhood, the community garden use would terminate. The neighborhood association recently held an event and received input from residents regarding the community garden, and the group discussed proposed site design and potential issues related to the garden, and all in attendance were in favor of the concept. I just wanted to quickly kind of give you an idea of the proposed site improvements, just to kind of give you a feel for what it would look like. So there would be paved brick pathways going throughout the site. They're also proposing to do some raised garden beds. Obviously, these are a lot larger than what would be on the site. And then here's just a quick concept of the greenhouse and shed structure that would go on the north lot. Staff agrees with the applicant that this would be a good use for the vacant parcel and is consistent with the approved Middle Village neighborhood plan is recommending approval with the following conditions. Bear with me. The community garden approval is contingent upon City of Oshkosh Redevelopment Authority approval and will be required on a yearly basis. There was one that was missed in preparing the staff report, which is the base standard modification to allow a substandard setback for the greenhouse/shed structure and the neighborhood identification signage as proposed. The applicant is responsible for maintenance of the subject site, including mowing, trimming, weeding, and keeping the site orderly. Any changes to the garden plan must be approved through the Planning Services Division. If a compost area is to be proposed, it should be placed in such a way that is out of sight as much as possible and to be enclosed to prevent rodents. Final design and placement to be approved by the Planning Services Division. Final design of structures, signage, and landscaping to be approved by the Planning Services Division. And the applicant will be required to develop rules and procedures for garden use. Rules will be final approval by the Planning Services Division. Rules and regulations must include but are not limited to the following. Community garden is to be used for recreational gardening and for personal and family use. Only off-site commercial sales are allowed. Participants may garden during daylight hours only. Gardeners are to supply their own tools, water cans, etc., and these items are not to be left on site. Pets are not allowed in the garden area except for service animals. Any debris and trash other than compost materials must be removed from the site daily. Gardeners are responsible for end of the season cleanup and to leave soil as found at the beginning of the growing season. Gardeners will remove all non-plant material, including weed block, fabric, plastic pots, wire, tomato cages, etc. And parking is not prohibited on the site.
Excellent. Technical questions. I think you meant not permitted. You said not.
Yeah. I couldn't see it, Darren.
All right.
So
Any technical questions from the commission? One question I have.
Yep.
Would this be standard stuff for any community garden?
Correct. Yep. These are the same conditions that were put on the community garden on Jefferson
Got it.
Street. This is a similar situation to that operation over there.
Other technical questions? Okay, seeing none, technical questions are closed. And is there anybody here from the public to speak to this item today? Come on up, sir.
Good afternoon, Tony Palmieri, 212 West Parkway Avenue. I'm a member of the Middle Village Neighborhood Association. And the Plan Commission approved our neighborhood plan, as you know. And as you know, this agenda item and the next item on your agenda are really core to the vision of that plan. So we really seek your support for this today. And we believe that the Neighborhood Association will really do a good job of maintaining this once it does get put in this location. I think the Jefferson Community Garden, Jefferson Street, which Elizabeth just mentioned, is a good role model for us. That site has become very popular. They've got lots of volunteers. And actually, originally, that garden was supposed to be in the Middle Village neighborhood, but we did not have any space for it. So now there is space in our neighborhood to do that, and so we do look forward to your support. I can't imagine that the neighborhood will have any problem maintaining it and keeping it nice and well-kept, because it really is in our interest to do that, because we want it to be a main selling point for the neighborhood. So we really would appreciate your support on it. Thank you.
Anybody else here to speak to this item today? Seeing none, back to the commission.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I just want to comment.
Yep, go ahead, Carl, please.
Fabulous idea. I really think it's fabulous. This and the next one.
Carl, John?
Do we need to specifically state with the 7 recommendations, because what we have in front of us is 6?
Well,
Correct, there was one added
Right.
from.
The motion would
Right.
be with the added.
Just,
Added, yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's picking nits, but
Right. Why we're here. I would second what Carl said. I think this is an excellent idea, and I wish them all the best. Any other comments? All right, let's call the roll.
Crop,
Aye.
Lori,
Aye.
Weigert,
Aye.
Wallenberger,
Aye.
Bowen,
Aye.
Case,
aye.
Whitehead.
Aye.
Motion carried 7-0.
Let's move on to item 4, conditional use permit plan development to allow for the placement of an urban green space located on the southeast corner of Franklin Street and Ida Avenue.
Here, there we go. All right. Very similar to the last request, the Middle Village Neighborhood Association is requesting a conditional use permit for an urban green space use and plan development approval for the development of the urban green space. The subject site is located on the southeast corner of Franklin Street and Ida Avenue within the Middle Village Neighborhood Association. Again, the vacant parcel is owned by the City of Oshkosh Redevelopment Authority and was acquired in 2012 after the home, formerly 628 Franklin Street, was razed due to fire damage. The neighborhood, again, the area consists of predominantly single and two-family residential homes and is zoned R2 PD. The applicant is proposing to establish a green space intended to provide a park-like environment on the subject site. The urban green space will allow for additional community building opportunities in the neighborhood, which is a goal outlined by the Common Council for Oshkosh neighborhoods. The proposed use will also provide a safe place for children to play and a location to host neighborhood gatherings. Additionally, the use of the vacant lot as a neighborhood green space was identified as a goal within the Middle Village Neighborhood Plan. The green space as proposed, you can see the existing conditions here on the screen. However, the concept would be to put in an open lawn play area, paved brick seating area, a small play equipment structure, landscape beds, and an informational kiosk. The proposed improvements meet all bulk and dimensional requirements, with the exception of the informational kiosk and play equipment area. The informational kiosk would be similar to the examples here on the screen, and would be located approximately 3 feet from the property line. The kiosk would house information relevant to residents in the neighborhood and is intended to be used by pedestrians on the sidewalk and visitors to the green space. Staff recommends the proposed kiosk be no more than 6 feet in height and 3 feet wide, and is supportive of the proposed location based on its intended use, location outside of the vision triangle, and believes it would not cause any vision obstructions. The proposed play equipment, which would be small in scale, would be located approximately 5 feet from the rear property line and 7.5 feet from the side property line. It would, as proposed, encroach about 20 feet into the rear yard setback and would require a base standard modification. Based on the size of the lot and the desire to maximize the lawn play area, staff feels the proposed location is appropriate. Again, the neighborhood green space will be maintained by the Middle Village Neighborhood Association, and they anticipate requesting funding through the city's Great Neighborhoods Program to complete site improvements. The site, again, will be assessed yearly by the RDA, and if the applicant is no longer maintaining the site, it would then cease. There we go. At the same event that was held, residents who attended were very much in favor of the proposed concept. Staff also spoke with the property owner to the south of the vacant lot, and he is in favor of the concept and would like to be involved in the implementation as it moves forward to ensure that he is comfortable with all proposed changes. Staff agrees with the applicant that this is a good use for the vacant parcel and is consistent with the approved Middle Village Plan and is recommending approval with the following conditions. And I won't go through them this time for you, so you guys can just read them on the screen.
That it?
Yep.
All right, technical questions from the commission. Seeing none, anybody here from the public to speak to this item today?
Good afternoon, Lori Palmieri, 212 West Parkway Avenue, and also a co-coordinator for Middle Village Neighborhood Association. Thank you all for considering these items, and I just want to use a quick little analogy how this project or these concepts have been like a volleyball game in that some of you may be familiar with the bump set spike in the game, and the neighbors and the neighborhood association bumped this concept idea up to the surface, and the planning department has been an excellent setter, and we expect that the Plan Commission and our day will spike that in. And I just want to say, too, it's really been exciting to see all these kids playing on the space at the block parties and people getting excited and coming together about improving this spot. And I just want to thank you, and we appreciate all your support.
Thank you very much. Come on up, sir.
Hello, my name's Eric May. I'm the resident of the property adjacent to the south. I'm not familiar with this procedures before. I haven't done this before, so if I step out of the scope of it, please let me know.
We will.
Just want to bring up some of the thoughts I had. I think the park's an excellent idea. I haven't been part of the planning through the community group, but I had some conversations with them early on, and I may have been one of the earlier suggestors for this kind of conversion of the property. I think it's excellent, especially with the large population of children we have in our neighborhood. One of my concerns and thoughts, and it was brought briefly today, where we can work on perhaps changing ordinances in the city. My initial thought was that this would be a place of children coming together, and that might apply against some of the laws against pedophiles in our area, and may be able to be used as a method of preventing them from moving into our neighborhood. Personally, in regards to our home, I do have some questions and concerns, and it certainly can be addressed later as the plans move forward, regarding access for home repair and maintenance with being such a close proximity. I'm also concerned about what would happen in case of children will play and damage will happen. I'm just kind of concerned what procedures would be in place to address that. And then finally, we had some concerns about the bushes. We spent a considerable effort removing bushes from around our home because my wife hates spiders. So if it's possible to maybe look at a privacy fence as a way of secluding that back side of it, that would be certainly favorable from us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Anybody else here from the public to speak to this item today? Okay, seeing none, that's the close of public commentary. Back to the commission.
Move to approve.
Second. Seconded. One question I have in terms of the gentleman's requests, how can those best be handled?
Or specifically relating to the design?
Well, access to the house.
Yep.
Fence instead of shrubs, that kind of stuff.
Right, yeah. I
Can't be
think
done informally
as
through-
the concept moves forward, the group is going to be working, the association is going to be working with the landscape designer to finalize some of the details of the site. If he would prefer a fence, we would look at that option as opposed to the shrubbery along
Okay.
the fence line, if that would be more desirable.
Any other comments or questions from the commission? Okay, seeing none, let's call the roll.
Crop. Aye. Lori?
Aye.
Weigert?
Aye.
Schallenberger?
Aye.
Bowen?
Aye.
Pitts?
Aye.
Whitehead?
Aye.
Motion carried 7-0.
Any other items of business before we move to workshop? Okay,
Second.
you moved in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. On to workshop time.